You talking to me? We're together. Me and you. You're talking to me? You're talking to me? You're doubting me? After all we've been through?
No disrespect, Max. You're not gonna lay a glove on me. And even if you do lay a glove on me, I'm gonna laugh in your face. It's another world here against me, and it's another world at this weight. I'm gonna come out of this bout unscathed and in all glory.
I am gonna touch your face over and over again, brother. I already know this, brother. Welcome to the Mystic Max era, brother. Welcome back.
Stuff he's saying is about what he's going to do in the cage. He says he's going to sun you. He says he's going to go right through you. He's not looking past you. He's looking through you.
He got to say what he got to say, right? Whatever gets him to the octagon Saturday night, he can keep telling him that. You keep telling yourself that. Just please show up come Saturday night, and that's it, Conor got the gift of gab. He loved talking. Maybe he's talking to get himself ready, and I support it 100%. Max Best Holloway, support this message. Keep talking what you got to talk, and I'm glad. I can't wait to see you come Saturday night here in Las Vegas.
I'm watching you hit pads, right? I remember after you fought Donald Cerrone, Dana White came in the back room and said, I'm never questioning you at welterweight again. I'd argue you're more of a real welterweight now than you even were then. You look to have really filled out. You are hitting harder than I've ever seen you hit. Are you feeling?
I feel great. Yeah. I feel absolutely amazing. Stellar. Exceptional. No corners cut, no flash or... We've been quiet this camp.
Yeah.
We've been at work. So that's confidence. There's a lack of confidence if you need to share things or get this ego boost. We don't need it. We're going to do it on the night. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for my team.
You're fighting Conor McGregor taking on Max Holloway. How do you feel about that fight? Especially with Conor McGregor coming back, right? He's coming back into fighting. Once again, I feel he said that he needs it. He loves it, the sport of competition, right? What's your thoughts on that fight where he's fighting Max Holloway? Max has been in the paint. He's been grinding. He's been fighting his ass off. Give me your thoughts, Patty.
I've said Conor. I think Conor's going to win. And it's because it's at welterweight. If it was at a lightweight, I would have picked Max. But Max got made to look small by Charles at lightweight. So imagine how much bigger Conor's going to be than him at welterweight. And getting it by a welterweight is much different than getting it by a lightweight.
Conor doesn't need to fight. He has everything. I respect the fact that he's coming back to fight so much because it shows that he's a fighter in his heart. Me, I got to a certain level and I decided to walk away. Conor, he's back. It shows that he's still that fighter despite having so much success. I'm rooting for him. Proud of Conor. I'm a massive fan. I think I will be for the rest of my life. He has had a lot of struggles, ups and downs, just like I have, but he always gets back on his feet, which is a huge example to so many out there.
The fact that I think it's a great matchup coming back to fight Max at 170.
I love the story, yeah.
Yeah, I love the story, and I think, Max is coming to his own. Obviously they fought a long, long time ago. Since then, they both become champions. You have Max, who's been in the paint, just fighting tough guys after another. Where Conor, he's kind of, he's been a businessman. He's been a father for the last couple of years, going through some soul searching, whatever he's doing. For him to come back and fight a tough Max Holloway, I'm going to go with Max with this one. I just think Max has just been fighting a lot of people lately. Obviously, he did get ragdolled by Charles Oliveira, but Charles Oliveira is a monster itself. I don't think Conor has the same skill set as Charles when it comes to the grappling department, but I think I'm favoring more Max in this matchup against Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you as well. I don't think, McGregor's not going to try and take Max down.
No.
Okay, so it's going to be a stand-up fight. Max has been in the firefight. When you're 3 rounds deep and you've been...
More than 10 years have passed since these two men shared the same space in competition, and in that time, the sport has been completely transformed. New champions have risen, old records have been shattered, and the entire landscape of mixed martial arts has shifted in ways nobody could have predicted back then. Yet through all of it, the history between Conor McGregor and Max Holloway has never faded. It sits there, locked in the record books, impossible to ignore, and just when Max Holloway had spent years turning himself into one of the most durable, battle-tested fighters the featherweight division has ever produced, a familiar face showed up again. McGregor walked back into the conversation the way he always does, without warning, without apology, and carrying words that nobody quite knew how to decode. The messages were layered, the tone was loaded, and the question hanging over everything was simple. Is this the same old psychological chess match McGregor has always played, or is something much bigger actually in motion here? Because when a man who once dominated an entire era of the sport starts sending cryptic signals toward the current Iron Man of that same division, you pay attention whether you want to or not.
Joe, it's great to be back. It's refreshing to be back. The body is invigorated. The mind is sharp and fresh and ready to go. I'm ready to enter this brutal business as a ruthless fighter once again. And I'm very, very excited and happy.
McGregor has never hidden the fact that he genuinely enjoys the violence of this sport, not in a reckless way, but in the way a man enjoys something he was built for, something that makes sense to him on a level most people cannot access. He has always operated on the belief that whatever he wants most in life sits directly on the other side of pain, discomfort, and sacrifice. That belief did not disappear when he got hurt. If anything, the injury that would have ended most careers seemed to sharpen something inside him. He has spoken openly about the road back, and the picture he has painted is not one of survival, it is one of hunger. He is not returning to the cage just to compete. He wants to accomplish something that has no precedent in the history of combat sports, and that alone tells you the kind of mental space he is currently operating from. That hunger has a way of spilling out, and right now it is spilling directly onto Max Holloway. McGregor is not approaching this the way two veterans typically approach a blockbuster rematch. He is not offering Holloway the respect of a peer. The way McGregor has been talking, you would think he was correcting a younger athlete who had forgotten his place, rather than preparing for one of the most decorated strikers in the game. He has made it clear he expects to walk away from this fight unmarked. Not roughed up, not tested, clean. He wants Holloway and everyone watching to believe that Max's offense, the same offense that has broken men and won titles and produced some of the most memorable moments in featherweight history, registers as nothing more than noise to him. That is a deliberate message, and it is aimed directly at Holloway's confidence. McGregor is not just building himself up here. He is working to tear something down inside his opponent before either of them ever steps foot inside the cage on July 11th. The gloves have not been laced, the walkouts have not happened, but the fight, in McGregor's mind, has already started.
I've done it and I've experienced it. I've experienced the difference in camp, the difference in carrying the weight, the difference in the opponent being able to absorb the damage. And I'm excited to welcome young Max again into this.
What gives McGregor's verbal campaign a sharper edge than usual is the fact that he is not just talking. He actually believes there is a technical argument behind every word, and that argument comes down to weight. McGregor has been at the top of this sport long enough to understand exactly what happens when a naturally bigger man absorbs shots from a smaller one. He has felt it from both sides. He knows how a training camp changes when you are carrying more mass than your body was originally designed to hold, how the fatigue compounds, how the timing shifts, how what worked perfectly at a lower weight suddenly requires more effort and more precision. And he is fully convinced that Holloway, making this move up in weight, is walking into a version of that problem without fully realizing it. McGregor sees himself as the bigger man in this equation, the one whose body can take Holloway's best shots and keep moving forward, while Holloway's frame absorbs the kind of power that featherweights simply do not produce. He is positioning himself as someone who does not need to avoid the exchanges, someone who can stand in the fire and walk through it. The tone he has adopted with Holloway carries that same message. He is not treating this like a fight between equals. He is standing at the edge of his own territory and extending what sounds like a polite invitation but reads like a warning. Come back into my world, he is essentially saying, and find out what has always been waiting for you here.
It is what it is. You know, I've been out for a few years. Let the people say what they wish, whether it is good or bad. I don't pay attention to it. I don't let it enter me. I stay centered and grounded, and that's where I'm at. I'm back. I know I was going to come back. I learned a lesson in that lapse in concentration in the camp in preparation that I have since adjusted, and you know, that's why I think I'm only warming up here in this game. I really, really believe I'm.
All of that confidence, all of that edge, all of those carefully constructed psychological moves, none of it changes the simple and brutal reality of what July 11th actually represents. The stakes here are not just high, they are historic on both ends of the outcome. If McGregor has been right about everything, if the mental conditioning holds, if the body has fully recovered, if the weight advantage plays out exactly the way he believes it will, then what happens inside that cage would become one of the most extraordinary comeback stories that professional sports has ever produced. Not just combat sports, sports in general. A man returning from the kind of injury that permanently ends careers at this level of competition against this caliber of opponent and winning, that story would be told for decades. People would still be referencing that night 20 years from now. But Holloway has spent years building a version of himself that does not break under pressure. He has absorbed punishment that would have stopped most fighters and kept throwing. He has faced moments in fights where everything seemed to be going wrong and found a way to reset and take over. If Holloway steps into that cage and simply refuses to be rattled, if he treats McGregor's words for exactly what they are and lets his hands do the responding, then the entire foundation McGregor has been constructing crumbles. And what is left in that scenario is not just a loss here against Holloway after everything McGregor has said, after all the guarantees and the dismissals and the psychological positioning, that would land differently than any defeat he has previously experienced. It would not just be a bad night. It would read as a final answer to a question a lot of people have been quietly asking for a while now. That is the weight both men are carrying into this. McGregor carries the weight of everything he has promised. Holloway carries the weight of proving that experience and durability and ring intelligence matter more than mind games and predicted size advantages. One of them is going to be proven right in a way that cannot be argued with or reframed afterward. The cage does not allow for spin. When the door closes and the referee steps back, everything that has been said between now and then becomes completely irrelevant. The psychological war that McGregor has been waging for weeks gets settled in real time, in real space, by real violence. Holloway knows that. McGregor knows that. And on some level, that shared understanding is what makes this fight worth watching more than almost anything else on the schedule right now. Two men who have both seen what this sport can take from you, stepping back in together with everything on the line. Whatever happens next, nobody walks away from July 11th the same way they walked in.